Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hello, how's it going, everybody? We're gonna be hanging out, playing little games, having some fun, answering a few questions. We'll just hop right in. Hello. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you with us. We've got our charity right above my head. We always stream for charity. And yes, I am still playing my horrible Serpent Strike build. It's fun. I like it. Just gonna hop right into the monolith. Hey! Thank you very much, Anton. The 8th. 16 months in a row. Hello. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Also, we had the results for the we did a poll. This is something that I feel like good to talk about. We did a poll for our content rollout strategy for cycled content, and we released the results of that poll this morning. Those are up on our forums if you'd like to check them out, and I'll at some point later on this stream I'll go over them and we can chat, talk about them. What you guys think? I'll give you the TLDR is that we're basically doing what we initially had planned to do, which is we're releasing almost all of the content to everyone simultaneously, and then a few just one in this case very specific little thing, the pinnacle boss. Is going to be delayed until someone kills it on cycle. Short version. So everything except for just the pinnacle boss fight itself, just the final fight, will be available for everyone right away. Is it just over here? Alright. Does that have 300% increased damage over time and I have a 1 LP weapon I'm using right now? Why, yes it does. Are we gonna go do dungeon now? Why, yes we are. If you have any questions, please put @Last Epoch Game in the chat and I will know that it is a question for me to answer. I'll be happy to do so. There now. Did you lose some weight? I have actually. Thank you for noticing. You're the first person to notice. Down 14 kilos. I really liked your performance in the town portal. Like always, thank you very much. I had a ton of fun doing that. It was great. So yeah, shout out to Frosty and Aaron for having me. Yeah, I had a ton of fun with it. It was great. Yes, my crafting materials. How many more chapters for campaign? 3 chapters are coming to the campaign still total. There will be no new campaign chapters in patch 1.1. 1.2 is going to be getting a new campaign chapter. And that's kind of all the timeline information we've given on when the new campaign chapters are rolling out. But yeah, so then the first of the 3 remaining campaign chapters are coming out next patch after this one that's just about to come out, so 1.2. I hear a lot about focus on endgame for us leveling enjoyers. Do we get some new skills or something to play around with? Oh yeah, I mean, so like a lot of the stuff we add, so like we add like new unique items to the game, and those aren't exclusively super end-game items. So like some of them we do intentionally add early and mid-game items to the game, so as you're leveling you experience those as well. Also, along the same vein as exiled mages, one of the new systems we're adding in this 1.1 patch will still happen in the campaign as well, so that enriches your campaign experience. There's also just like all this like skills for different characters, like skill trees get updated, the passive trees get updated, so all these things like new items get added, like they all affect your leveling experience as well. So it's not strictly a end game stuff. There's a big focus there, but a ton of that we add, like we deliver that during the campaign for some of that as well. And you know, like I don't think you'll be while it might not seem that there's like and the focus is on endgame for sure, but we do know that our leveling experience it affects everyone too. It affects people that are really interested in endgame, so we are working on the leveling experience as well. Most of the big ticket shiny things that come up in a roadmap though, that generate hype and excitement for the game are endgame things. Looking good, thank you. Is there any new skills / complete reworked skills for 1.1? There are no brand new skills. There's no just skills from scratch. There is there's one skill that's been pretty heavily reworked. We've kind of teased that a little bit already. And there's I would say many skills that have had tweaks and adjustments. Yeah. With more bosses coming, and assuming more tech and cool skills with them, will older timeline bosses get a touch up as well to keep them feeling current and relevant? Yep, there's not a ton changing with the timeline bosses directly, but there's some new experiences there for you. A lot of the stuff we're adding in 1.1 affects like it's going to affect like a broad range of times along your journey to the pinnacle boss. It's been mentioned that HP will be more in line with Ward as far as effectiveness for late game EHP in 1.1. Can you provide any specifics about what is changing? Not really. We're still tweaking a lot of the numbers, and a lot of it's just number changes. So like there's changes to like the formulas for how ward decay works and ward retention works, and you know, there's changes to the like there's individual nodes that are sprinkled in on, like, so for example, we spoiled a few weeks back, there was a one of the teasers we had was a Void Knight node that gives you health per vitality, in like extra health per vitality in the Void Knight tree. So I think that's like, I mean, that's one specific thing we're doing. This is something I was talking about recently, was that I think a lot of the power for ward-based builds comes from passives and skills. So like your passives and like what skills you have generate a ton of ward, and that's completely not item dependent. So you can happen really early in the process. So you get this like the power curves on ward-based builds and the power curves on non-ward-based builds look very different. and especially early on, the like ward just shoots ahead in a lot of situations. So it's tricky to see that, like, oh, health will catch up type thing. It doesn't catch up all the way, but it's tricky to feel, and it's tricky to get there as well, because so much of the health based builds are very gear dependent. You kind of need to do a ward build first to get there, which isn't ideal. How do you feel the overall success and patch cadence of the game is going? I mean, I think I think overall we're doing great still. There's it would have been nice to get this patch out a month earlier, or 2 weeks earlier, just to keep the pace and the timing up a little bit better. But you know, like we're still going through some growing pains on the whole process. But I think I think we're hitting our stride, getting in our groove nicely, and it's gonna be a good thing going forward. I think this patch is gonna be a lot of fun. I think that'll help a lot. Oh, here's a question. Don't forget to put @Last Epoch game in your question so I see it and know that it's for me. So the question here, there used to be a Mac OS version. Will there ever be a thing again? We don't have any plans to bring it back. It's not impossible, but it's not on our list right now. On Town Portal Podcast, you were telling us the name of the Pinnacle boss when your mic suddenly cut out. What did you say? Oh, sorry. Did it cut out again? Oh, my bad. Let's try it again. It won't let me say it. I don't know what it is. My mic just like cuts out and it just like doesn't let me say it. Sorry. I'll try again later. Where can we read the changelog for stars? The full patch notes will be up in the few days before the patch. I think we try and get them out as early as we can. There's things that change quite close to the end, and it's sort of what we do in that last week when we're like, all right, no one touch anything. It's stable. It's working. It's good. We're content finished. Everything's done. All right, now everyone write down what you did. It's not quite that bad, but you know, like we spend a lot of time formatting the patch notes, and like everyone goes through the sections and makes sure it's all nice and written and properly and everything like that. And so there's some time that goes into that after we've locked the patch. In the early stages of making the game, was a T-Rex for Beastmaster considered? Yeah, so when we were talking about animal companions for the Beastmaster, the raptor is actually one of the last, might be the last one. Yeah, wolves were first, and then it was bears. So it was wolf and bear were like right out of the gate. I don't know. I think Sabretooth was next, and Scorpion was very shortly after, and then like quite a ways later, we added a raptor. And I think, like, I mean, hopefully the obvious thing, T-Rex is a little bit out of scale for the player to make sense. I missed another one. Spike! Resub for 17 months in a row. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, gentlemen. And Mr. Flibble. Yes, Mr. Flibble. Thank you for 13 months. This is crazy, guys. So many people over a year. It's nuts. It's really cool to see. And I'm glad you're having fun and enjoying yourself here. Thank you. And I am Ins. You're in. Welcome. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Oh, what is happening? It's a casket. Rancid. Thanks for the 5 gifted subs to the channel. That's very cool. Congrats to anyone who got one of those. Yeah, thank you. Sorts of stuff happening today. Nice. Alright. As a relatively new ailment, Electrify, when will it be a little more expanded in availability, and how could it stand out compared to the other dots? I mean, so like, one of the ways that it stands out right now is that it is limited on the characters that can have it. I mean, that's kind of one way that it is different than anything else, like bleed and poison and ignite. There we go, got it. Frostbite, things like that. It's tricky to have them be too different. There's something to be said for the simplicity of the base ailments, the ones that are just like you've got a physical dot, you know, like, and having that be simple and clear. You don't have to read what it is. You know what that is going to do just from looking at it. Like, just you bleed. It's a dot. It's physical. You don't need to know anything else about it. And that understanding of what it is, having that be a really low barrier to entry is really important. And then having the things that like make it interesting and unique, have those be effects on specific skills and abilities, and maybe items, things that are like more damage to bleeding targets, or maybe it's like when you hit a bleeding target, it can cause it to become poisoned or super poisoned or something. You know, like things like that affect the dot from the outside are a lot. I think are a lot better for us to do for like. Especially for new player onboarding and for being able to like learn builds better and be able to craft builds yourself faster and easier. So we usually approach them from that perspective for the I want to call them like core dots, like the ones that are pretty widespread. And I know this part of this question is why is Electrify quite as widespread? And sometimes it just comes down to the theming of the class itself. So like basically every class has physical damage somewhere on it as even a partial theme, but lightning damage is not always very represented element. So like Acolyte, for example, has almost no lightning damage. I think I'm like, oh gosh, does it have it somewhere that I'm forgetting? I don't think so. I don't think it has it almost anywhere. And like Void Knight and Sentinel don't have much. Paladin has some, so like it's a minor one for Forge Guard, and Void Knight don't have much. Paladin has some, so it's sort of a minor dot there, a minor element there. I guess Javelin's actually base class, isn't it? I always think Javelin's Paladin skill for some reason. But yeah, things like that, I could see getting a little more expansion in a few places. Probably, I think most of the times that you'll see Electrify being available on classes that it doesn't really fit super thematically will be from skills. That's when you get that crossover is usually through skills, items, I'm sorry. Alright, will the meta be mostly the same for 1.1, or is there a good shakeup? It's tricky to know exactly what's going to happen. Playstyles that people have shown us they really enjoy. We're careful not to decimate them completely into the ground type thing compared to the other things that are available. There are some very heavy nerfs on the like situations where people are getting into where they're wildly overpowered. But you know, relative to the other builds that are available and the maximum potential as a character you have in the game, it's pretty similar for those super high builds. They're still high up builds. I think you're going to see more newcomers into the scene as far as builds go. That will, I guess, shake things up by just giving more options. There's definitely builds that are viable and fun and you know, powerful that weren't viable, fun, or powerful before. Is there a chance to lower the cost of Shatter Runes in the early game? I think it's unlikely. Because you can transfer gold to level 1 characters can have 1 million gold on them. We don't want to create a situation where you're like, all right, let me switch my level 1 character to buy Shattering Runes, and then we switch back to my level 90 character to keep playing. Like, that seems bad. Yeah. So I'd say probably not. The cost kind of needs to be static. It's also a matter of necessity as well. So like, you can't see this text. General Harton, get off my ship. Never. And you don't really need a ton of Shattering Runes early game. They're also not super useful early game. Like they are useful, but not like they're not as useful because you're getting far fewer affixes per Shattering Rune. We have talked in the past, I don't know if we're going to do this ever, but we have talked about having like an inefficient Shattering Rune or like a minor Shattering Rune that's like just always available, or is just, you know, like it just doesn't do quite as good of a job. Like maybe it gets half the number of affixes, something like that. I think the big reason we haven't done something like that is because it then says, all right, you want to be super efficient? Turn on every single item you can pick up and pick them all up and shatter them all, or start taking them back to town. And you know, it's creating these play patterns that are not fun, but because they're efficient, people will do them. And it's that like the short term that we use for that is just burden of optimal play. And RPG players frequently like to play things optimally. It doesn't really matter how you are optimal, it's just if you are optimal. And we try to make the optimal path fun. It's like those builds we've had crop up in the past where it's like, all right, you're gonna sit here for 10 minutes before the boss fight, and you're gonna pre-buff for 10 minutes, and then you're gonna walk in and one-shot the boss. And like, that's not really, like, it's cool to have happen and it's kind of neat, but like those 10 minutes of pre-buffing suck, you know? Even I remember I don't know if you played D2 Pandemonium event. You're trying to like you're trying to be optimal, so you get the Fade armor, stealth, I think, and totally wrong. There's a rune word. You can put in armor, and if you get hit, you have a chance to cast Fade on yourself. And Fade cranks your resistances up a ton, which is super valuable for that fight because Mephisto has a conviction aura that nerfs your resistances into the ground. And so you go and you sit in Act 4 near the waypoint. You just stand in a little pool of fire waiting for Fade to proc. And then you go to do the boss fight. It's like that pre-buffing step. It's optimal, it's great, but you're just standing there in the fire waiting to go, and it's kind of boring, right? That's a super low impact and super minor version of what I'm talking about, but that's the type of thing we try and avoid. Want me to spell out the name for you? Yes, I have no idea what you're talking about, but yes, always. Oh, the pinnacle boss name. How do you even know the name? Just tuned in. Did you talk anything related to more about the alt-friendly features? No. I don't think we spoiled any of that yet. I don't think anyone's talked about that yet. That'll be part of a devlog. They almost they almost let me actually spoil some of that for the Town Portal interview that just happened. That was one of the things. It was like, I don't know, 10 minutes before the show, and someone sent me a screenshot of one of those things to post up, and I'm like, are we showing this? So you can blame me for it not showing up. All right, we've got Taslo73. Thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate it. And so does our charity, because that's goes to our charity. Boom. We need to do some gear upgrades. Our boots are not awesome. You guys should collab with Slay the Spire for Transmog. Would be awesome. I would love to do a collaboration with another game. We've kind of tried to keep things like in universe as much as possible. But we have technically broken that once already because my face is in the game. But other than that, it's all in universe stuff. We can find it if we want. Kind of hard to see, but there's my face. Some of those were cool. I might put some on. I also love Slay the Spire, by the way. That was I thought that was a great game. It's all you have for me. Pitiful. How do you guys feel about adding something to Necromancer to encourage some interaction on the part of the player rather than being completely passive? I mean, yes, the how you know it's time to trim your beard. The primary action we want players doing as playing a Necromancer and like driving into that primary theme they have is summoning things. So that active summoning action. And so two summoning skills that we have included specifically to keep players, give players the option for being an active summoner, where you're not just watching your minions kill things, are Volatile Zombie and Summon Wraith. Now, this goes back to the efficiency thing a little bit, I think, is that it's really efficient to automate things. And so like we like to give players options to do things that they find fun. So there are lots of options for automating things like Wraith with the new Wraithlord helmet, and some of those may be just a little bit too strong, I think, right now, so it makes doing it manually less appealing. Probably the long and the short of it, really. But yeah, we do take that into consideration as something that is an active summoner role, and that is important. Are there any plans for mid-cycle events? Yes, but not yet. That is the sort of thing that we are really interested in doing. We don't have any specifics on what those will be or when they'll happen yet. But yeah, having mid-cycle events is something that's interesting to us, especially if there's like some event that's happening that we can like line it up and coincide with. I think that's the sort of thing that we'll start to do more once we're in that steady rhythm, that steady pace. Yeah, should we give it a shot? Give it a shot. Because they'll fight each other. Not look good. We might be in some trouble. Oh, we might make it. They did like no damage to him. Ugh. Enemies, minions. Whoa, what's going on? I didn't think they would. Worth a shot though, right? Yeah, get culled. That's interesting. That's interesting. When extending the size of 11th Hour Games, do you foresee the company creating other games? If so, then what genres would you like to work on? Oh, I mean, yeah, I'd love to expand and get more games going under our belt and all that sort of stuff. I think like EHG was formed specifically to make Last Epoch. Oh, thank you very much. Got QB1 Junkie. Welcome everybody with that rating party. Glad to have you with us. Yeah, with expanding the company, we are expanding the company right now. Like we're hiring people, and they've hit the ground running. Great job, guys. Well done. And like I did some more interviews last week and I guess this week, and it's like there's some really talented people that are applying. It's so cool, which is great. Like it's awesome. And yeah, like so expanding the company to new games and new genres and stuff like that. I'd love to, but I think we are like I said, we formed 11th Hour Games specifically to make Last Epoch. So at least in the short term, that's our focus. That's our that's what got us here. That's why we're all here. You know, like that's what we're here for. But like other genres, you know, like there's so many genres of games that I love and that I'd love to one day work on. I feel like I personally, anyways, have tons of time left to work on other stuff. Like I'm very committed to working on Last Epoch for a long time here. But once that's maybe done, or like I don't know, maybe I get bored of it in 7-8 years and I don't quite make it to 10 more years. We've already been doing it for 6, you know, but not bored at all yet. So that's a good sign. If I was gonna pick other genres, I would probably pick like I'd love to work on a 4X game. I think that would be really fun. Shout out Civ 7 just got announced. Old World current favorite right now for me. If you like 4X games and you haven't heard of Old World, it's a smaller game studio. Oh my god, it's good. And like maybe like in the roguelike or like Metroidvania style. I loved like Rogue Legacy and Rogue Legacy 2. I think that would be a lot of fun to work on as well. It's a very different. I would want to do something like pretty different. I think. You know, huge Magic fan. Maybe like some sort of like card stuff. You're talking about Slay the Spire recently, something along those lines maybe. I don't think I'd be overly interested in like a first-person shooter style game, personally. Maybe like a farming sim. That sounds weird. I like grew up playing tons of Harvest Moon. There's a whole bunch of drama around that right now. Maybe like a really like a retro, like a throwback retro RPG. There's been a few really good ones of those that have come up recently. Final Fantasy IX remake just got leaked. That's my favorite Final Fantasy game, and like, oh my gosh, I just the remake got leaked, and I immediately started it up again. And first try perfect on the dance battle at the start. Oh yeah. Which you need like it's not even guaranteed. If you do it perfect, it's not even guaranteed that you get perfect. Yeah. Never done the Fast Alexandria to get the special weapon, so I might try that. Okay, back to Last Epoch. Let's stop rambling. Okay, are you satisfied with the sales of the game? Yeah, I mean, my personal threshold threshold for being satisfied with the sales of the game was like, oh my god, one dude bought it. Yeah! You know, so like, I'm easy. Alright, hey, just wondering why do we need to click transfer crafting materials at all and it's not transferred automatically? Just wondering what the thoughts behind it is. Yeah, this is about, it's a long story. The short version is we're trying to have items be items, and when you pick up an item, it goes in your inventory. And that's sort of like that core fundamental thing, and especially for like. This comes back to like the new player experience, that leveling experience as well. You come across, and this is a crafting material. You come across an item, and you're like, oh, it's a health shard, and you pick it up and you open your inventory and it's not there, and you go, what happened to it? Where did it go? And so there's. I think there's probably a better way we can do this, and we've been trying to reconcile the requirements we need for this for a long time. But I do, one thing that I do think is that as you get into that late game and there's you're finding large, especially on like COF when you're finding large bombs of crafting materials, and you end up in situations where it's like pick up, open your inventory, transfer materials, pick up, open your inventory, transfer materials, pick up, because you don't have much room in your inventory, and it's only picking up some of them each time. Like, that's not fun. That's just busy work at that point. It's a pretty hotly debated internal topic, and has been since it was made. Alright, is Cycle 2 Forge Guard is getting... in Cycle 2, is Forge Guard getting a base crit threshold node? I'm going to read this question as it's written instead of what I'm saying, because I apparently am just butchering this. In Cycle 2, Forge Guard is getting a base crit threshold node. Can we expect to see a node similarly as impactful as base crit in the Shaman tree for Cycle 2? The Totem Frenzy is underwhelming, especially since it's Frenzy only for Totem. I mean, there's definitely more new nodes than just the ones we've shown. So don't go jumping to conclusions on the overall power of any class based on what we've shown so far. I don't know every passive node we've added off the top of my head, so hard to say yes or no to that question. But other nodes in that power range for other classes is totally viable. It's on the table. I love the Fury Leap animation with the spear. It's like not using the spear as a spear. Are WASD being worked on, or is it part of the plans in the long road? I know there's some animation things that you would have to consider if you do. It's still in the maybe category right now. That was well worth the little walk over here. Very happy I did that. Oh, here we go. Some stuff. Oh, okay, I know what I'm wearing. Oh. Oh, hello.
No room.
Also, hello. Yeah. Is this Dex as well? It is Dex as well. Okay, we've got some new helmets to work with. We're gonna take a second and do a little crafty here. I think we just got a helmet upgrade. Oh my. That just won't do now, will it? Better? Close enough. I'm over here now. Aha! A little better. Wonderful. Okay, we're gonna craft. We're just gonna take a stab at some of these and see what we can do. What is our resistance like? Actually, one of our better ones. I think we can get something better in that slot though. We're gonna chaos this. We're gonna try to seal that. And now we're gonna try and put something fresh on there. I think just straight health. No, we want flat health. Yeah, I just want flat health right now. Ooh, it was a big hit on the Forge Mitchell. Ooh, another big hit on the Forge Mitchell. Good, good. All right. Okay, that's a sweet item. Let's see if we can do better. I think this is the one I actually want to do. We're going straight to a seal on the minion health. And then we're going to crank this. Tend to just like put dexterity on this. Or strength even. I think these all scale with strength. Oh, attunement. Really? How long has that been like that? Forever? Yeah, probably. We're still gonna go dex because we want our poison. We can't seal anything anymore. There are 4 helmets that are each better than mine. Okay, that's sweet. That's awesome. Very happy with that. I don't even know which one of these I want to use. I think the crit strike avoidance is probably the best just because I need crit strike avoidance right now so bad. This is so much flat defense. Start with this one, I think. So auto place that armor. Alright. Will we be getting more reflect/thorns damage for the Spriggan Thorns armor? I don't think there's much in the way of changes there. It's possible. We've been pretty stingy with reflect in general so far. And I know it's an archetype that a lot of people are kind of hoping that we expand on. It's like 100 health just from that. Anything major missing? Avoid res tanks. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's much. We've been pretty hesitant on the reflect stuff. What is the least played spec? Probably what I'm playing right now. We actually have the stats for this. Least I think was. Oh my gosh, we just finished one of the polls. Okay, first teaser. I totally missed the polls even happening. I was probably crafting while I was going. Sorry. Forge Guard has been voted for the first teaser reveal. There we go. All right, so here's a node in 15 points in Forge Guard to get to it. It gives you 10% increased critical strike chance with two-handed weapons per point, up to 8 points. And at 5-point threshold, you get 1% critical strike multiplier per 2 strength with two-handed weapons. So a little bit wordy there, but so it's really pushing crit and crit multi with two-handed weapons on strength-focused characters. Not what I'm doing now. But speaking of powerful nodes and crit on Forge Guard, there's another one. Drop it down to the corner here. Sitting on screen in case someone wants to see it. I mean, there's a weapon that goes with it. Did you fix your mic setting this week? I don't know. Is it better? I've been working on it and failing pretty miserably overall. The settings are very different than they were last week, so it should sound different. And I hope it sounds better. Opinion on more Thorns Reflect build. I think there's room for us to be a little bit less stingy than we are, but I do understand why we are. And so it's tricky because it's also not a playstyle that super duper appeals to me personally. So I don't like if we're in a design meeting and the topic comes up, I kind of am like, I'm fine with it the way it is. So I don't really have a huge dog in that race, and I save my design meeting energy for topics that I'm really passionate about, personally. But I can assure you that there are people on the team that do really like that playstyle. So it's not there's basically no matter what playstyle gets brought up, someone always speaks up and goes, I want to do that, I love that. And I think what's really cool about the team is that there's such a huge diversity in what people like and what people enjoy, and like we have like kind of joking debates all the time of like, oh, this is best, that's best in ARPGs, and like we've got to buff this because it's what I play. We joke about that a lot, and it's pretty diverse in what people enjoy, which is great. That you like to see. Will there be MTX for Shapeshift soon? Not soon. But yes. And so even just perma Ice Bear looking at the same thing all the time, just boring. I would throw money at you. Thanks for wanting to throw money at us. I like that. Of all the things to be thrown at you, it's one of the best. Yeah, it does affect your overall visual experience more than non-transform builds, because you do change as you level. So that is a good point. I hadn't thought of that before, really. The entire skill MTX system isn't built yet, so we've got to build that first before we can start doing it. But it might be cool to have like a passive node where you could turn the bear white instead of needing to wear Kermit's Cage in order to be the Ice Bear. When you finally get a merch store, yeah, when we finally do, someday. I feel like we've been saying that for years. Can we get a t-shirt that says, I treat my beard like hair? I'll ask. If anyone doesn't know what this is, a couple days ago on the Town Portal podcasts, people were asking what I did to take care of my beard, and I said I treat my beard like hair, which of course, beard is hair. One of those dumb things Mike says. Ooh, that's a nice one. Hello and good evening to everyone. Hello. Are you looking forward to Slay the Spire 2? I am. I've been looking at Slay the Spire 2 looking forward to the hypothetical Slay the Spire 2 since I started playing Slay the Spire 1. I really enjoy having like I really enjoy having those big epic games where you're like you're playing them for 1,000 hours and like you really get in deep and you find every little minutia of thing you can do, and like I really enjoy doing that. And then at the same time I also really like having these little games that you can blast through in 10 hours and have a blast with and put down and walk away from and come back to a few years later and have fun with again. I think Slay the Spire fits in that latter category for me personally. I know there's speedrunners that are just bonkers good at it, but I really enjoy being able to like beat a game sometimes. You know, like it's having that variety. I like both. I like the Weaver's Built item concept. Was there a specific motivation for this item type? I think it's having that the core initial thing was just having items, having your items grow and change and be impactful in that growth process as you're playing. And so having one thing we were finding is, and this may have been partially due to just like the volume of viable items available, is just that you'd end up in a lot of situations where your gear would be pretty stagnant for long chunks of time, and having this gear that like levels up with you and changes as you play, we thought was just a really cool concept, and that was sort of the jumping off point for Weaver's Will items, and then it developed it from that angle. So mechanics first. When LE was released, it came with a lot of polish and improvements over the beta. What kind of first impression do you expect players to have when coming back to the new cycle? I mean, there's a lot of what we've done is there's been a big effort on polish and bug fixing this cycle for sure. One of the things we wanted to make sure we did when we were planning the 1.1 content, we set aside a significant portion of the like dev time allocation for 1.1 for community response. So like what I mean by that is like things we can do in response to community feedback from 1.0. So it's we knew we do plan ahead what we're going to put in a lot of patches pretty far out. So we knew like the base content that was coming for 1.1, but we made sure to like leave room for just stuff the community asks for, because we got a lot bigger of a community when 1.0 dropped, and we got a lot more voices asking for a lot more things. So we knew there was going to be new things we hadn't thought of that were going to show up there. So I think there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a good chunk of little things that maybe we've talked about doing like sometime in the future we'll do, and you're like, oh, it slipped in now, nice. There's a couple of those, and I think there's big emphasis on moment-to-moment gameplay and fun, and then end game as well. So that's our second one of these we've dropped today. That's funny. Just really wants me to play with it. When LE was released? Oh, that's the same question. Don't forget to put at Last Epoch game in your question if you would like me to answer it. I just skip over everything else. Can Shaman get a unique idol? Make it a totem that turns Storm Totem into a lightning elemental pet. I mean, maybe. I do really like the idea of having elemental pets on shaman. I think that's like from like personally, yeah, I'm on board with that. I think part of the problem with doing it so explicitly is the core theming on shaman is like one of its primary themes is totems specifically, and the like core differentiating factor between totems and minions, which Beastmaster's primary thing is companions, and totems and companions are all minions, but like the core differentiating thing between the two is that totems are immobile, and as soon as we make the like a mobile totem, we've kind of turned shaman into Beastmaster in a way. No, not completely, but I think that's one of the risks in doing that. So that's probably why we haven't done something like that so far. We have slipped in some elemental minions already on Avalanche. You can have like the boulders fall and they turn into like an ice elemental, which is pretty cool. I would like to see more of those, but I don't know if bringing them in from totems is the best way to put elementals in the game. Patch today, but no patch notes. I did have a patch too. I had a little update. It was probably, I think we were doing some server stuff and we had to change to the client to make the server stuff work. That's all it was. I think the patch notes would have read, updated some server stuff. That's it. Because we just changed some server stuff in our backend for dev builds as well yesterday. Any ideas with making regions inside an echo that favors certain enemy types or map types, like top left favors ancient era maps, or the right side is fire heavy? Currently the individual timelines do that already. So like you'll see different styles of echoes in each one of the timelines. I do think that could be cool though because once you're in the actual timeline map and you're making decisions on where to go, having something that influenced that a bit, I think would be really, I think that'd be interesting. I think that'd be cool. I think part of the problem we've had in the past with the timelines is people kind of see the reward that they're looking for. They go, okay, I'm looking for experience tomes, and there's like, oh, there's a cluster of experience tomes, I'm going that way. It doesn't really matter what else is there, it's just that's where I'm going. Done. So the reward really drives where people go in the timelines already. So I feel like we'd have to put the way we could make it more interesting and make the decision more dynamic is having different rewards showing up there as like, you know, I've long wanted to put some sort of like a mini game almost in the timeline map where like you're chasing something and it like moves and like, okay, reminiscent of, and I know these are like the speedrunners Bane, in Super Mario Bros 3, the hammer bros that move around the map as you beat levels, they can move anywhere between 0 and 3 spaces. And like, I think something like that would be cool in the map, where like you beat an echo and like something moves around the timelines and you can like chase it down if you want. You can see where it is out in the open. I think that would be really cool. That is Stream Mike coming up with crap, by the way, not anything we've talked about. All right. Quick excuse for us to plan a Hot Wing stream? Yeah, I'll do a Hot Wing stream for sure. Oh my god, yes. That was so much fun last time. I'd love to structure it, like, if I don't feel like answering a question, I have to eat a hot wing or something. Problem is, I just like stop answering questions because I love hot wings so much. But last time we did it, I made them a little too hot. Like a complete idiot. I didn't really bring some not crazy hot ones that I could like sub out if things got too bad, and I was just stuck eating the crazy hot ones. I was struggling last time. Bad. But also good. Do you and Ben, you and I mean company in general, plan to do some sort of documentary about your story? I think there's a typo there. I'd love. Do you, and by you I mean company in general. Got it. Plan to do some sort of documentary about your story. I don't think we have anything like that planned. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I think that's sort of a like, I don't know. The story's not done, right? I feel like we're still in like, we're in like part 2 of the books. We've got a few parts left to go. Maybe part 3. It depends on how many parts. But you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's enough story to be had before we do some sort of I don't know, look back, retrospective. But I'd love to. I think overall we've had a pretty wild journey here. I'll start putting things in these actually. Yeah, that one. Is the Sentinel interaction with a javelin that you turn into Jarvan 4's banner disabling the electrified chance with melee while javelin is on cooldown intended? Probably not. I'd have to double check. Chance one. It probably stops being a melee ability, doesn't it? The tags probably changed. That's probably what's happening. Not even gonna try and weasel out of that it's Jarvan 4 thing comment. Okay, did you just pick all these up? I think we just pick all these up. One. Bad. Poison damage. Hello. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, we do have a pretty sweet amulet. But, like... Let's go. Alright, increased healing effectiveness. We do not need increased healing effectiveness. We're going to chaos that away. Ellie dot. Don't need that. Throwing damage. Don't need that. Fire damage. Don't need that. Okay. That's an unfortunate turn. But I think we can just get some, like, Ellie res in here. Crit success, not bad. That's even with the fire damage dead stat. It's actually not that much more damage because this is the 2 poison and dot stats. so much more resistance than the 70 something health. I think that's worth it. Oh, we got unlucky with some of the crafts. Give it any shock. Let's cast that away. Ellie Res will take that. Okay, so if our minions are struggling, we'll go with that. But I think we're happy with what we have. Pumped on that node. I just realized I never finished the campaign of this character. We still got our zeros. Oh, we got one attunement. I wonder what that attunement's coming from. We only have one attunement. That's weird. Okay, we're gonna go back and finish the campaign. We will finish this this model first. All right. Is there going to be a race to level 100 next reset like 1.0? I mean, yeah, like, so we are resetting the ladders, and you can race to 100 for sure. Everyone will start at 1. We don't have any prizes for it. I'd like to ask if there are specific accessibility options planned for visually impaired players, such as customizable color masks that can offer high contrast between background characters, NPC, and mob, and any points of interest of interactable objects. Not for 1.1. We are in the process of sort of figuring out what accessibility options we can add to the game. It is something that we are aware is a weak point of the game, and we do want to improve it. So it is something that we are. Just accessibility options in general, like even things as like little as like arachnophobia mode, because that bothers a lot of people. So yeah, there are accessibility options that we are working on. I don't think there's many that are ready to go yet, unfortunately. But we are working on it. We both fury leaped at each other to cross over. Get that Venn diagram center. Res them both. We're doing all right here. We're getting some good upgrades. We're cruising. I really need to switch this out. My goodness. It might as well not even be equipped, anything in that slot. Okay, new goal. Find a relic. I missed the last couple of streams. Oh no, it's okay. And this may have been asked, what level of difficulty can we expect for the pinnacle boss? And will there be any requirements to get to it? There are requirements to get to it. There's other stuff in the in the new content that's releasing with 1.1 that you'll have to do first. So you'll need to earn your way there. This actually is a good time to talk about the survey results a little bit here. Okay, so the new content for 1.1, everything that is in 1.1, absolutely everything other than the very final pinnacle boss fight, just that one final boss fight, everything other than that is available to everyone simultaneously as 1.1 launches. So 1.1 drops, and everything included to 1.1 except for just the final boss fight is available for everyone right away. Online, offline, cycle, legacy, softcore, hardcore, solo, everything. The final boss, the pinnacle boss fight, that will need to be completed by anyone playing on the cycle at all. So whether you're cycle, like so online cycle, online cycle, single player, or like solo, not solo, hardcore, softcore. As long as you're playing online cycle and someone completes it, some staff don't count, and some of the testers don't count either. As soon as that happens, the next day, when like the next working day, we'll get up in the morning, someone beat the boss, great, and we flip a flag and everyone gets access to the boss. Offline gets it, Legacy gets it, all that sort of stuff. So I think that there's the big like we can talk about the reason why we're doing this, and like there's a big article we posted this morning about why we're doing this, and goes into like we set out a poll recently to ask the community what they thought about these options. And I guess the one thing that I really want to stress with this decision is that this is the decision we've made for 1.1, and we are very interested in your feedback for how this goes with 1.1 and what you experienced and how it affected you and what you felt when it happened. Like, and I think that a huge number of and our prediction on this might be wrong. We'll see what happens. I think that there's going to be a few people who push really hard to do this really quickly on cycle, and it's going to be beaten and released to everyone pretty quick. My estimate's 3 days. That's my personal estimate, and I could be wildly wrong in either direction. But my personal estimate is on the 3rd day, we will get. It's pretty good. We're not transformed, right? I think we'll wake up 3rd day and everyone will have access to the Pinnacle boss. And I think the really important thing is that because you still have to complete the earlier stages of that process on your character, you'll unless you're also like really rushing hard for it, most players won't have access to the fight anyways by the time it's unlocked for everyone. So if you're sitting there at home thinking, I play offline and I just play a few hours a night casually, why am I being punished for other people wanting to be competitive on this and that sort of stuff? I encourage you to leave feedback on this and tell us how this goes for you, and tell us what you experience when it happens, and if you were sitting there waiting for it to unlock. I think it's going to be rare unless you're like really pushing hard to do this stuff as fast as possible. I think most people are gonna kind of get there around that time anyways, and so it's gonna feel like this is all pointless for most people. I think a lot of people are just gonna be like, you're not gonna be able to tell anything happened. But I could be very wrong on this, and we're very interested in your feedback on it. And we're gonna reassess this situation and like look at the data. We're gonna look at the feedback. We're gonna look at how this went for everyone, and we'll make a new decision for 1.2. This might be. Everyone might be like, "Oh, this is fantastic! Just keep doing this exactly the same." And we'll just keep doing this exactly the same. This might be everyone hates it, and we have to change it and go back to the drawing board. And we'll change it and go back to the drawing board. This is really it's a bit of an experiment, and we're still figuring out exactly how we want to handle this long term. Yeah, we are very interested in your feedback on this. But it is one of those things that I will. I'd request withholding final judgment until you've experienced it, would be my request. I think it is, it's a difficult thing to give feedback on without experiencing it first, which I know is frustrating, especially if it does end up being bad. I know that can be frustrating, but we'll see what happens. I'm pretty confident it's gonna be good, but we'll see. Okay, more questions. I think I like just sidetracked a hard left turn in the middle of that question. Sorry. Requirements. Yes, there are requirements to it as well. So you'll have to like get those requirements before getting into it, anyways. All right, maybe you could develop a space-based survival exploration game without loading screens and call it Star Wave or something. A space-based survival exploration game without. I don't know what that's a reference to. That sounds cool though. I played Oxygen Not Included. That was a great game. It was a lot of fun. Someone had a ton of fun with the like. There's a lot of good humor in that game. Just little tiny things. For Order of Decay, if it had a conversion node for it, what type of conversion would it be? I think you gotta look for, because we're talking conversion nodes, so it's gotta be something that's on theme for Acolyte. I personally would try and go cold with it. I think that's where I would go. Do you think there will be couch co-op with consoles when that someday happens? I would love to. There's some. Did it not work? Did that not work somehow? What's going on? Why did it ping me back there? The bug? Yeah. Okay, cool. I think it's expecting me to do this one first. That's the problem. Anyways, couch co-op in consoles. Yeah, I think there's room for that. I think that was a huge part of Diablo 3's success on console. Was the couch co-op options. I would love to add that in. I don't think that's likely to be initial scope for consoles. Personally, be wrong, but I don't think that's initial scope version of consoles. I think that's version 2 on consoles. You know. Has the dev team thought about an artificer class mastery? If not, why? Yeah, we thought about that for sure. Like, we've talked a ton about possible class options. Like, just so much of like when we were adding the when we expanded the extra classes to include like Falconer and Rune Master. When we did that that expanded class wheel and we went from 2 masteries to 3 masteries for every class. Whoa, that was close. We talked a ton about the various possible classes that we could add into the game, and like go to your favorite classic fantasy tabletop RPG website and you know, like look at every class they've ever included in their game, and then go to your second and third and fourth favorite one of those and look at every single class that's in all those games too. We've talked about all of those classes. Hey Mike, hi. Have you played Undecember? I have not yet. Or anyone else on your team has? Yes, several people on the team have played it for sure. I was not playing it. I do think it looked really nice though. There's a few things they did really cool, and the like that like hex grid where you're like slotting in different things and they make different shapes and different patterns based on the like connections and the sides they have available and things like that. Was a cool system. That is a cool system. Sorry, I'd not do recommend it. Just I do recommend. If not, I do recommend just to get idea for LE. I asked because they have some really good ideas and systems. They just added a gem system which is really fun to participate in. I think a system like that can work great in LE. All RPGs inspire others. Dogs just like you did with PoE and with the trade system. Please don't just copy the monetization model. Yeah, there's the number of awesome systems that people come up with for various games is so cool. I love getting into another game and checking out the cool systems they have and playing around with them and exploring them and trying to break them and put them back together and all that sort of stuff. You know, like that's so much fun, as I expect it is for many of you here. I think a lot of those systems, as like with our systems are too, they're built on each other and they're built with each other in mind. So they're like, okay, well, because we have this system, we need something to fill this other role, and then you develop the system with that other role in mind and that sort of stuff. So I think there's a lot of times where there's like systems that don't transition nicely. I have no idea if this one falls in that category, but there's definitely systems in games where you're like, man, it would be great to be able to add that, but we'd have to remove this system from our game first. We've had that feeling a few times. But yeah, it's on the giant list of games that I have to play. It's on there for sure. Definitely on there. I watched Aaron play it a bunch. that was my. I usually will have like other ARPG streams open while I'm working, or like just other game streams open while I'm working in general. Or it's like if I really want to play a game and I'm just like don't have the time to play it myself, I'll just like pop a stream open while I'm working. Whoa, that was a lot of explosions. Run! Can the crafting materials auto stack instead of using individual tiles? We don't have a stacking system at all. Also, will there be updates to the character sheet and skill stats? Hover over skills and see what's affecting it. We don't have specific. Oh, apparently I'm very far behind, so I'm gonna try and catch up here. I think we should do another. Did we do a second poll, or is this the notification for the first poll? Am I that far behind? Okay, we're gonna be a little aggressive on some of these questions. I'm gonna try and catch up a bit. And if we haven't started the second poll yet, let's start the second poll. While I crank through some of these. All right. We don't have a major character sheet or skill stat detail update for 1.1. Sorry, we are working on it though. I'm working on a bug with it right now that is just so frustrating. The like you see the integer overflow stuff that's happening. Trying to fix that. So frustrating. All right, pick a teaser poll is up. Thank you. How will the cycle stash tabs transferred into legacy when the cycle ends? For example, I have 130 stash tabs in cycle and 80 in legacy. How does it work? Thanks to the game. Okay, here's how it's gonna work. You will when you open cycle rolls over. All of your characters are now legacy. Okay, all of your characters are now legacy. You have no cycle characters at all. If you make a new cycle character, you open your cycle stash and it's general with one tab. That's your entire stash on cycle. Okay, you go into any other legacy character and you will see your legacy stash just like you see it now normally. However, there will be a little drop down here that you can pick different cycles from. So you'll be able to switch between legacy and cycle 1 because those are the only two cycles that have existed so far, the only two things that have existed. If you switch to cycle 1, it will switch. It'll then show you what is right now currently your cycle stash, and you'll be able to have all your tabs, everything for your cycle stash will populate there on your legacy character, and you'll see all of it. However, it's remove only, so you can take your stuff out of here, put it in your inventory, switch back, and you can transfer over that way. So you can bring your stuff into legacy via remove only tabs. The things that will merge nicely, for example, basically everything in this, this is that bug that I couldn't reproduce. Oh my god, this is that bug that I've not been able to have happen at all, and it's happening now. Oh my god. This is hilarious. I'm completely shook here. Can I do it from this angle? Yeah, I can. Okay, great. All of these things that transfer nicely between stash. So this is part of your stash. This crafting inventory is part of your stash. Your gold is part of your stash. When you go into Legacy, onto Legacy character, there's another button right here that if you click it, it will take all of your nice mergeable things from the cycle and just bring them into Legacy. So all of your crafting materials and gold and all those things that just like merge nicely will just come over. So it's optional. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but it's a single click for that. That's how it's going to work. The tabs themselves do not come over. As they don't become tabs in your new characters. On your old characters, sorry. Or new, I guess. Alright, before launch, Ellie got over 1 million copies sold. Have you guys 10x that value after launch? I don't know what our total sales numbers. I don't think it'd be 10x. That would be, maybe we'll see. Item faction way out in front. No one wants to see the art spoiler. Wow. I'm gonna vote for it just out of pity. It gets a pity vote. Okay. Item factions running away with it. It's fine. It's a good one. You ever see something in PoE or Diablo and thought, "Damn, I wish I'd thought of that"? Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna say it because we might try and do things like that still, but yeah. Any plans for the Spriggan form for Druid? There were some changes because we just pulled out a bunch of old stuff for it because some new stuff was put in. I can't remember what it was though. Can you share any of your plans to improve set items in a post LP game? What about guaranteed LP of 2, but can never have more? No, so we're definitely not like we've had the LP on the like LP on set item suggestion 1,000 times, and we're definitely not doing that. Our plan, we want to I can't really talk about it specifically. It's not in 1.1 yet. It's still coming down the pipe. We want set items to we really want to incorporate set items into your endgame characters, but we don't necessarily need you to have like 10 set items equipped at a time, but we do want them to be like to have that feeling of what is this, that gear puzzle that set items bring. We really like, and it's something that we've been trying to incorporate into the game many times. Early on, before we even had proper set items, we actually had set affixes where you can kind of build your own set items into the game. It didn't really work great. But I think that puzzle feeling of like, okay, well, I just got this sweet new exalted gloves and I gotta slap those on, but oh my god, I had a set piece in there, so I've got to figure out how I can get that set piece to be represented somewhere else to still hit my set thresholds and things like that. And that juggling and that puzzle is still something that we really like that set items brings to the table. So we really want to incorporate that still. And I think that's about as best I can do for you. But we got our next teaser, the faction teaser. So here's COF rank 7. Boom. I can answer the question while I do it. Where is the star changelog? I think this is the second time this was asked, and I'm not sure what the star is. The changelog, I assume, is the like patch notes coming. And the patch notes will be just before the patch. As a RF enjoyer, are there any plans to implement RF for Fire Aura for Spellblade/Remaster? We did just show a teaser on the Town Portal podcast that happened that had a new Righteous Fire node for Spellblade rank 10 that's very powerful. Are there specifically, it's called Incinerating Aura, I think. Are there specifically accessibility options planned for, I already answered this. Can we get a Merchant's Guild embargo on Aaron Action RPG, he has a bizarre addiction. Well, good news is he can't spend his real money on it. Why can't experimental affixes have a chance to be shattered? Maybe with some special rune. I find it hard to use these items. Maybe it's just me. There is a way you can seal them and do some janky stuff with that with one of the new runes that we added. So there's some stuff there, but it's they're very restrictive in where they work, and having just a shard for it drop that's only good on a single item slot, it felt weird to us. So that's why we pulled those. Because we did actually for a little while. Hey Mike, hope you and the family are well. Yeah, doing good. What design-wise goes into you and the team deciding on what justifies being an entire ability for a class opposed to just an alteration node? Ooh, I think it's the potential that an ability has to be altered. So if we're like, if someone pitches an ability idea and we're like, can you also pitch, or can someone else come up with like 3 to 5 really interesting, solid, transformative things you can do to that, okay, maybe that's got a shot at becoming a full-blown ability. And then also, does it introduce a new playstyle niche? Does it give you a new way to do things you couldn't do before? I think that's a big thing as well. And then it's like also how similar is it to something else? Does it feel like a variant of another ability? And I think those all combine together to be does it make it or not? I'm half an hour behind still, my goodness. Any news about reducing the busy work with activating sigils? Yeah, we're still working on it, but it is a problem. It's going away. It's a process, sorry. I'm pretty sure we got some of the updates in for 1.1 for that. There was something that we wanted to do with it that was not able to be done. That was a while ago, that meeting. So regardless of corruption, is there anything planned besides nerfing overperforming builds? Because right now, even non-meta builds like a Racing Strike and Lich Death Seal can reach 1,000 plus corruption with just OP gear, or you nerf 70% of the builds in the game. There's some pretty heavy, like there's nerfs and buffs all over the place. So there's that. There are other things that increase the difficulty of like just new challenges that show up as well. I think that it's probably more close. I think it's hard to say. I don't think that 70% of the builds actually can do 4-digit corruption runs. I think that there's maybe 70% of the popular builds can, but I think that's a different thing. Activate jump. I can just tank that. My necrotic light. Good, we got lots. This to do that yet? Walk away from it at that point. Will the poison carry over? I think it did. I don't know if it did or not. It did carry over. Nice. Nice. Come on up here, minions. Oh my god. It's like stuck on one of my vines. I just don't want to fight in the corner. A 113, 121. There's so many poison stacks I can get to. 120 was the highest I saw. Got him. Fun. Got the ring. Oh, I always get the armor. It's the like heavy favorite chance, but yeah. Interesting. Just go for it. I think we just go for it. Way better. I'll take that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, it's a good thing y'all have seen that fight a bajillion times. I'm sorry. Oh, I need like a big like light that just like shows up on my screen when I've got like an overlay up. That was dumb. That was dumb. That was dumb. Where did I go? Which way did I pick? Okay. Oh my goodness. We don't want that. We want to go do... I want to go get my spear, some LP on it. Hey Mike, have you discussed the imminent "this is too grindy" time investment does not pay off complaints coming after 1.1, when at least I assume we won't even hit 1000 corruption anymore? I fear 1.0 has set standards 1.1 won't live up to gear-wise because of the inflated drop rates and rarity. I think that there's enough interesting things to do and different ways to get gear in 1.1 that it won't be an issue. But I could be wrong. I also think, actually know this, that the percentage of players that are hitting 4-digit corruption is so teeny tiny that almost no one will notice. Some people will. Where are my keys at? Come on. This is why you organize your stuff, kids. Haha. And why we're adding new cool stuff next patch. No. Yes, but Javelin is never melee. It just grants other attacks chance to electrify unless you touch the banner node. Ah, okay. That far back, eh? Any chance to get a color wheel for the loot filter instead of the predefined ones? No, we actually had that originally and took it out. How about the incoming server overload in Cycle 2? Are we better sit in Cycle 1? Yeah, much better. We have a different server provider. And different backend infrastructure, and different matchmaking server, and different. It's so much has changed. I'm getting older and my eyes aren't the same as they used to be. Sometimes it's hard to follow where the mouse is on screen. It blends in too well with the background at times. Will there be an option to change the mouse size or color in the future? There is an unfortunate side effect of the way that cursor that we have the cursor set up in the engine to be as efficient as possible, and it does have an unfortunate downside of once the game is built, that is the, like, when I say built, like once we've created the executable and sent the executable to Steam, the cursor that it has is fixed and permanent. We can update that cursor by making a new game, by rebuilding the game and sending it back out to Steam and having a new cursor that way. We don't have a way to put an option in the game right now to change the cursor. It is something we want to do. If your cursor is really small, you can actually change the size of the cursor using your Windows settings. So if you change your mouse cursor settings in Windows to be huge, it will change the cursor size in game. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it still does that. Having the ability to change cursor size in the game is something we are still interested in. I don't think anyone's actively working on it right now, but would be nice. Lovely. Hello. Let me talk to you. Can we kill this guy first? Okay. And if you are really struggling with it, there are alternate options, such as YOLO Mouse. Which does introduce a tiny bit of lag, but if you're okay with that. All right, where's that? Already answered that. I did already answer, but just in case this is since then, how will stash transfer over from Cycle to Legacy? Is it going to be remove only tabs like PoE or something other solution? Yeah, it's remove only tabs. Will lore for new Pinnacle boss be tied to the existing base game or the seasonal story? It's both. Yeah, both. What is the reasoning behind the current way that hardcore works? Why not just delete the dead tune? I think that people it's an accessibility attempt. So I think people who will want to play hardcore and maybe not really want to dive in too far into hardcore just yet. They're like, I kind of want to try it, but I'm not sure I really want to play it. So they play hardcore and like their stuff is in their stashes and everything like that. And in the hardcore stash, they've started fresh and they're playing hardcore, and they die, and their character flips to softcore basically, and it's that moment of like, okay, do I just keep playing on softcore as I was with all my old characters, or like I can go back to hardcore and play again? It's just like the character died because it's out of the hardcore environment. And then everyone who like is like, I only play hardcore is like how they play. The character is dead to them anyways as soon as it dies, so it doesn't matter because it's bounced out of their entire core gameplay environment where they are playing hardcore and all their stashes and everything. Maybe having some sort of like local setting that's like auto delete the character when it dies or something. Like pre-put in the, like when you're creating the character, or like, and maybe an option where you can like type in the character name to be like pre-delete character when it dies or something, or auto delete character when it dies. That I could see that being an option that we add in, or maybe the play pattern we're talking about isn't actually that big of a deal and we've just made a mistake. I don't know. I don't think it really takes away anything from people who want to play hardcore, but I can see how it could. Alright, you can manually stack the runes and scrolls. What? Can you actually?
How is this possible?
Yeah. How is this possible?
Be able to command time here. Unless
I'm gonna test this. I'm not gonna transfer my materials, and I'm gonna test this. Cause what? Since when? All right. If in potions were hot sauces, what flavor hot sauce would they be? I mean, it's got to be something that like gives you like that real like sudden jolt of like just getting going, but it can't be like so hot that it makes you vomit everywhere. True story. So I think it needs to be like probably in like the scorpion pepper range, where it's like still doable. And then I'd almost want something because there's like a potion. It's supposed to feel good. I'd want something like maybe a little tropical, like a roasted pineapple scorpion pepper. Sounds good. Alright, are we getting more unique armor skin models? There are new armor skin models. I don't know if they're tied specifically to uniques. I know there's new weapon 3D models. I assume we're talking about 1.1 specifically. Oh yeah, in 1.1 right afterwards. Weekly reminder for the character sheet rework. I already got it from someone else. Ugh. But thanks, Cyborg. I assume that was you. Yes, that was you. I'll see you next week. Alright. Aren't you guys afraid of the long time it's taking to drop the next big patch and people losing interest in the game? I mean, yeah, it's definitely a concern that we are that we weighed heavily when we decided on the time frame for the patch. It's 2 weeks longer than what our goal was, which isn't, it's not great. It's not the end of the world. I think that an undercooked patch that people didn't like, but had it quickly, would be worse than a like delivering on the quality that we need. Any mechanic improvement to help melee, like Jorah and Frostlich? There's no core fight mechanics there. I think that the evade mechanic generally helps melee characters more than it helps ranged characters. Not hugely, but a little bit more. So I guess, yeah, there's that. Will there be an option to hide armor pieces, especially boots? Asking for a friend. That's interesting. Hiding boots on your character model. I don't think we have plans for that right now, but possible.
finally, I will have its power.
Is there more changes coming to COF in 1.1 besides level 710 rank? Oh yeah, lots more. And MG2. Like there are of like all of the factions in 1.1, there are a total of more new things than old things. Like of the rank rewards. Of all the factions in 1.1, there's more new rank rewards than old. I'm wording that a little tricky, but you know, you'll understand what I mean. Any plans for movement skill for Spriggan? Not a hard one, not specifically. You get evade. Close. What is in the middle of the screen? A teaser that I failed to remove. My bad. What is this? What would you prefer? A Mecha Ninja or an Undead Pirate class? My first thought is like, let's just combine them into one. I would probably prefer an Undead Pirate class, I think. They both sound like fun. My Scorpion was just dead, I didn't even notice. Do you look at balance from the point of view of group play? Yep. I like playing in groups and like that we had healer in LE. I could expect for one player being density clear, another being single target. Can we expect more development around group interactions? I mean, so yes and no. So we do build things with group play in mind, where we'll say like, hey, this ability is really good in group play or something like that, and maybe it's not very good outside of that situation. So we do develop specific things with that in mind, but we don't develop specific fights or interaction like combat encounters with specific group compositions in mind. So we don't look at the classic like DPS healer support or like DPS healer tank or DPS support tank, however you want to phrase that trinity. We don't set up fights with that in mind, but we do set up some character abilities with like specific alternate roles in mind. So we'll say like this is, oh, someone wants to play a support role. Here's a way we can take this this ability and turn it into an even more support style role. And sometimes those look like kind of weird nodes individually. So there's some nodes you'll see on maybe a class that doesn't have good what's a good example? This the flame ward. You can cast flame ward on allies, but there's like no minions on mage, really. There's mirror images, but it doesn't really count. So there's like that node's kind of useless unless you're in a party, right? So we do have little things like that we put in. The one key thing that we do have is that all of the content should be possible to solo. So we don't really want to have boss fight situations where it's like, well, if you don't have someone that's dedicated healing, you're kind of hooped. You know, if you don't have someone that can that's able to tank these huge hits, you're kind of hooped. Because you see that a lot in MMOs where it's like there's this boss and it's like it's gonna hit someone, and if you don't have a tank that's gonna hit with this, like someone that can absorb that hit, whoever it hits, it's gonna kill no matter what. And so we don't put abilities in that situation where it's like guaranteed to hit and guaranteed to kill if it hits.
Escape is impossible.
Oh, jump too soon. Jumped way too soon. Embarrassing. I was just stuck there for the whole fight.
Escape is impossible.
Oh, it's... I was talking about how like, oh, you can learn fights and it's fine if you learn the fights, and I'm just like butchering this fight. It's okay. It's okay. We'll get there. Be fine. Don't worry. Maybe.
Escape is impossible.
We got there. No thanks to me. It's a cool item. it doesn't really work because the everything's all over the place, but it's kind of cool. Yeah, those items have identity crises. We are doing this. I didn't even look that it was the right item type. Oh, it's like it's long and pointy, like it's stabby. Yeah, it works, right? That should work. Oh, Mike, you absolute noob. Okay, we got one. We got so many. We're spoiled for choice. Okay. I guess we should actually craft on these first. Find the one we're gonna do, and let's craft on it, and let's do it. Oh. You think I'd never played this game before? None of these are very good for my build. Ooh, never mind. That's the one. Yep. Okay. Can't do that. Can we reroll this? Nope. It's too hell. We can't reroll anything on it. That's okay. We're just going for it. Will it let us? Okay, we're going for that poison penetration. It's unfortunate we can't craft the other things off of it, but I don't care. Let's just do this first. We're doing this down here. I love that node. We're up this way? No. Where were we going? Maybe we did all of this. Health leech, yes. Up here, yes. We're going up here? We're going this way? Is that what we're doing? No. All right, next question. Would you ever consider a kill combo system for Ellie? Nothing needed for a reward, just something to set a goal of highest continuous kill combo person, like a boss badge. Yeah, I love this idea. This is, we've debated a few times. We don't have one. I would love it. That's one of my favorite things about modern Diablo is that like the how many of you killed without stopping. It brings me right back to playing Resident Evil 4. I love it, love it, love it. All right, as D4 direct competitor, I'll take it. Do you find anything interesting in their loot reborn system that you would see in LE in any sort of form? I think there's a lot of similarities there already, and I don't think there's really there's not a ton of new ideas there for us. I don't think, but I mean I think it's definitely gone in the right direction for sure. Wilson is going away. Yes, it's always sad when a game shuts down. The servers anyway, single player still, so it's not going away fully. Did you guys buy anything from the fire sale? No. Are they like selling off assets or something? I don't know. It's in a different engine, so I don't know if it would work too well. That's too bad. But still, it's not the end of the world that we got that one. I was really hoping for that poison pen. We'll take it though. About melee, I mean when bosses are on top of killing skills like Jewel's Kaleidoscope, and the Frost Lich Cold Smoke, those are deadly for melee. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot you can do in that situation, like having the boss position itself in such a way, right? There might be some stuff that we've had some issues with server positioning reliability for players moving enemies with abilities, but I think it could be like, you know, like a get over here, Scorpion, nailed it first try, type ability is probably the closest thing you could do to fix that. If we've been doing a lot of stuff with the reliability of enemy positioning on servers, which is why the walkthrough enemies is different on online and offline, or was. Are you planning on improving timeline blessings, like locking in blessings, so are always guaranteed to get to reduce grind? Oh, like, no, we don't have something for that. We do have, I mean, so like as you get into higher corruption, you get more blessings, and you can get to the point where it's like you're seeing like a third of them every time. Specifically looking at trying to, I assume, higher rolls on specific blessings. That's a pretty, like, that's a very, very late end game type of thing to go for, is optimizing your blessings. Optimizing the rolls on your blessings. We are making it so that you can, that when you get a blessing, it basically goes into like a stash of blessings that you can then switch out if you need to, like town NPC, similar to passives. We are over time. I'm going to try and hammer out as many of these questions as we can, and then I'll be done. So I'm not going to do any more echoes and stuff. So I'm just going to finish off with a bunch of questions here, and I'll try and get through as many of them as I can. I don't know how far behind I am right now. We haven't had this many questions lately, so I've been like intentionally going slower on questions, but y'all have fantastic questions this week, so thank you. Really been enjoying them. Hi, please add a level up notification for factions reputation. That's a good point. That's a really good point. I think it only happens when you're in a menu. I think that's why we didn't do it before. Could be wrong. Hey, don't have much of a question. Just wanted to let you know that I love the game. Thank you. And just give a quick thanks to you and all the devs. I have achieved all my goals for the first circle, and I'm really looking forward to hop back on when the second one starts. Glad to have you with us. Excited to see what you do in the next one. All right, last question. I swear. Aw, I like questions. Lost Ark is, it's good though because we're running out of time. Lost Ark is adding an active block to all classes. So you think an active block button while wielding a shield would be a possibility, like how you added an active evade to all classes? Possible. I think that changes the combat a lot. One of the things with the active evade thing is it's like just push and let go and it's done. It happens. It's not something that you hold down or and the timing of it is it's not like an iframe timing thing. It's a repositioning tool. So it's pretty different, but maybe it's possible. I think if we did something like that, it would probably be more of a class skill based thing, specific to a certain class or specific ability. And we kind of have that with the rebuke ability, because it's a channeled ability that has a really short channeling time. It's like 2 seconds or 1 second or something like that, and it absorbs a weird amount of damage. So we kind of already have that a little bit, and I'd more prefer to see it in a skill focused shell than a universal shell. After seeing how good PoE 2 campaign boss fights are, will you guys revisit the campaign bosses, make them better and challenging fights? Yeah, I mean we are working on improving campaign bosses for sure. There's some minor changes to them coming in the campaign that I personally think really improves its I think there's certain fights that benefit from the changes we're doing a lot more than others. And I think the fights, especially the multi-enemy fights, benefit from it a lot. I think it makes them a lot more fun. Like just adding interesting decisions to the fight. Since pets can't pick up items, can they instead eat items you aren't looking for? Kind of like a filter, but permanent with a fun animation. That's cute. Probably not, just because there's always that chance that you filtered something wrong, and people check their filtered items sometimes. Maybe though. I think that's cute. I think that's really cute. And on that note, it's time to end. Thank you very much for coming out. I had a blast. I had lots of fun. I hope you did too. We'll be back same time, same place next week. If you asked the question and I didn't answer it, I'm sorry. It was not intentional. I am hanging out in the Discord all the time. There's an Acid Devs channel. You're welcome to come hang out with us there. And until next time, there we go. Head to die. It has to happen every stream, right? Let's go see what's going on. What am I talking about? Oh yeah, there's the full document on the poll results. There's like images and all like the exact breakdown of all the stats and everything. I didn't go through all the details, but it's all the main question results are there, so you can see how the actual questions were answered and everything. If that's interesting to you, I never put this up. Usually I put this up and hide during the outro. I hope you all have a wonderful time. Drink lots of water. Like 7 seconds. I'll see you guys later. Just gonna kill some time. Here we go. Bye, everybody.